Radio Grand Lac sur 92.1. Plongez dans le grand bain de la vie locale avec Radio Grand Lac sur 92.1.
Your English Weekly. Your English Weekly. La chronique 100% en anglais de Radio Grand Lac avec Sinead.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Your English Weekly. My name is Sinead Dupont and I'm hosting our 15th edition, yes, the 15th edition, to Your English Weekly, which promotes English speaking on various subjects, varying in English jobs, associations, English people, for the English community and for the local community who are wanting to learn English. And, of course, always with an expression of the week. So I hope you all had a good week. And this week we have Tim Smith, who's with us. Hello, Tim.
Hi, Sinead.
Oh, great. Thanks for coming. So Tim Smith is a cook who's going to sponsor 2 curries for our prize this week. Thank you, Tim.
No worries.
Oh, listen, I'm sure they're going to be delicious. So don't all ring at once, please. So just a quick thanks to all our listeners before we start too on 92.1 that make this show work. And thanks to Bridget last week who sponsored our wonderful book. And now we're going on to our little expression of this week. So before we start, Tim, do you think you might know what this expression means? A builder's tea?
To me, that means a strong cup of tea, a strong cup of brew, PG tips.
Ooh, so we'll see if you're right. PG tips, oh God, they go back a long way.
Yes.
I nearly forgot about these tea bags. They were our typical tea bags we had when we go from house to house to
Yes.
say hello. Okay, so we'll see at the end if you're right. And if you think you know the answer to this expression, a builder's tea, send us a message via Facebook, Instagram, email from our website, www.yourenglishworkshop.com. And don't forget, listeners, if you're interested in participating here on this show every week, don't hesitate to contact me. And there you go. So now back to my guest, Tim. So Tim, you were born and raised in England, Enfield, North London. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and you arrived in Savoy how many years ago?
10 years now.
Ooh, nice. Okay, so Tim, do you want to introduce yourself to our auditors just so they know who you are, to our listeners?
Yes, sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. It's my first radio show,
Woohoo.
so I'm very excited. I was born and bred in North London. I'm passionate about cooking, travelling, skiing, and of course I love this region. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, I know it's hard to hold up on this region. We love it so much. Okay, Tim, tell us, how did you end up here in France? In Drumatas, to be precise.
Well, my wife is from here, and I remember visiting her when I was younger. At the beginning of our relationship, and I fell in love with where she was living.
Yeah, of course.
So she came and lived with me in London. And after a while, we both fancied a change of life, and I wanted to move out of the city. And this was a perfect place to start.
Perfect place to start.
Indeed.
Perfect place to start. Okay, so just tell us, do you miss England at all now?
Yes, I miss friends and family. I miss London massively. It's very cultural. It's a good buzz.
Tell us a little bit about the culture out there.
Well, you've got a lot of museums and galleries and theatres. Museums 3. There's lots of restaurants and bars. Shopping's
we seem
great.
to have a lot of that before COVID arrived. We seem to have a bit of that here too.
yes, indeed.
But London, the buzz is gone, is it? No.
Well, I think it's from what I've heard from friends in the city. It's through COVID, the shops have been boarded up. Not all of them, and I think there's been less, obviously, people coming into town.
Yeah.
But it's starting to reopen a bit now, so fingers crossed.
So people are going back up on the high street?
Yes, and that's, for me, that's the most important thing, because it is fun when you're on the high street, there's people around.
Yeah. So tell our auditors, what's the difference between the high street and the malls? It's a different buzz, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. For me, I could take a walk into the high street and just walk around outside, look at the shops,
go
stop
do
for
some
a coffee.
window shopping.
Yeah, however, The malls are safe for a rainy day, perhaps, because you're undercover.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
No, it's not the same. But when it is cold out, we are happy to go into those malls to do a bit of shopping.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Tim, tell us, how is your French? Because, we want to know how this English community is surviving here in Aix-les-Bains and Chambéry. So tell us, how is your French?
C'est magnifique.
Oh!
No.
Do you find it hard sometimes to speak?
Yes, I do. I find I have a lot of vocabulary in my head. Just having to dig it out is the hard part. And the pronunciation is very hard for me, I think, with my accent. And sometimes I speak a bit too quickly, which I've had from being a Londoner. And then I should learn to slow down and try and pronounce the words because... Yeah, that's where I lose, but that's where I get lost.
Yeah, but a lot of the time as well, there's a lot of synonyms, or not synonyms, but there's a lot of homophones, and we think somebody has said one thing, and in actual fact, they've said something else. So
yes.
It's not always so easy, but it's the same problem that the French have.
Sure.
Trying to learn English. So
of course, there's lots of words, meanings. There's more words for one meaning, so...
Yeah. I know. But we could be talking about languages like we do every week. But this is not why you're here today. So you are here today to talk us about, because I know, because myself and my partner, we love going and ordering a few curries from you just to have an evening meal, a Saturday night meal. So you are a specialist of the curries, in my opinion, anyway, Tim.
Wonderful.
So what type of curries do you make?
I make Thai curries, and I make Indian curries. That's sort of my speciality in curries. I make red Thai curry, green Thai curry, yellow Thai curry, Massaman curry, Penang curry. So lots of curries, and then Indian versions, I make the madras or the buttered chicken.
What's a butter chicken?
Buttered chicken it's a creamy curry, actually. With lots of butter. So it's not very good for the waistline.
No, not really. No. I heard though that you make fish curries as well.
Yes.
What type of fish curries? Is it a traditional dish out there, or what is it?
No, I mean I haven't made one over here yet.
Oh.
I have had a demand for one, so something to consider. I just remember having a fish curry when I was out in Mozambique. I had a curry with a local fisherman, so it was fresh fish from the sea. Wow. And he made the curry. It was literally, it felt a bit Robinson Crusoe type, out on the beach.
And how did you communicate with him? Did he speak English?
A bit of English, and it was Portuguese. It was him. They speak mainly Portuguese in Mozambique. So
okay,
but I don't speak any Portuguese, so it's broken English.
I was going to ask you because
no.
Okay, so Tim, so you set up this big kitchen up in Drumataz now that you're going to be selling your curries from. Do you make only curries up there?
No, I like to branch out. I can make chili con carne. I
might try one of them soon too.
Definitely beef and Guinness stew. You should know, being from Ireland.
Yeah, of course. Long time since I've eaten that. Yeah.
And I do an Argentinian stew too, with beef with chimichurri sauce. So. Okay,
nice. So tell us a little bit about this new kitchen you've been renovating now that will be nearly finished.
Well, it's almost there. Just finishing off the fine touches, as one would say. But hopefully within the next month, I'm planning to get it rolling again, get the ball rolling.
Yeah, get the ball rolling again. Yeah. And everybody remembers what's to get the ball rolling, which means get things up and running again.
Indeed, yes.
Okay. So if our auditors wanted to order some of these curries, some of these amazing curries, how can they do this?
Well, first of all, they could go to my website, which is timskitchen.fr. Also, it's fairly self-explanatory. I've got my contact details there too, so they can call me on the mobile.
And what about Facebook? Do you have a Facebook?
I've got a Facebook account too, Tim's Kitchen. So tastes good. That, and I've also set up an Instagram account too.
Oh, fantastic. So if we tag you on there and you tag us, the auditors should be able to find quite quickly.
Yes.
So don't hesitate to have a look on our website this week, next week, because it's always 1 week later that we put up the people on on the Instagram, Facebook, etc. So from next week, you'll be able to find Tim on our Facebook. Okay, Tim, do you do banquets, parties, marriages, anything exciting like that? Or have you not gone that far yet in your business plans?
I think the closest I've come to a big part has been a business lunch, business lunches, because the volume's high. So that also showed me that I could do parties too, because and it's the food is good. Curries are good for parties, as you know. So no, that is something I will be branching out into in the near future, and it's for sure I want to tap that market. So.
Yeah, good. Okay, it sounds great. So how did you end up becoming a curry specialist? I mean, this is I'm always so curious about these little things. But how did you end up being a curry specialist? Because, I mean, you don't just go to cooking school and learn to be a
curry specialist.
Curries, you know?
It's funny, actually, you say that. I if someone had said that to me 2 years ago, I would have said, yeah, right, whatever. But no, I've just always enjoyed making food, and my friends have enjoyed eating my curries, that's for sure. And I've often had remarks like, I'll buy this off you, and I'm like, yeah, right. They kind of prompted me into, well, why not see if I could set up and sell some foreign food, which you don't find in France so much. It's
true.
Hard to get a good curry as well.
Yeah, but it's hard to set up business in France too, huh?
Yes, that's complicated too. I think unless you're fortunately, I've got a wife who's fluent in French. I'm sure she's French, so that helps me too.
So that helps a lot. Of course it does. Of course it does. So, Tim, could you just give us a few tips to our listeners now that will be listening to us on how to make a good curry?
Sure. I believe that, first of all, you should start with fresh ingredients.
Of course, yeah.
That's fundamental. I always get the meat from the butchers. Actually, I go to Grand Lac to get the vegetables. And more authentic vegetables, I'd go to the Chinese shop. I think you always go, and fresh herbs as well, actually. Forgot to mention that. Otherwise, be authentic as possible.
Of course.
Use, the ingredients they would use. If it's an Indian curry, try and get ghee butter, for example. If it's when Thai, get kaffir lime leaves, try and get Thai basil.
But where do you find these ingredients? Just anywhere?
I found
Grand Lac, I know you find some stuff.
Grand Lac, actually, it's okay because it sells, they sell small sweet corn there, which is authentic out in Thailand. Otherwise, I go to the Asian supermarkets around. There's about 4 or 5 around and see what they have. And I'm sure they get regular supplies in. And they do. They sometimes I don't like it when, because I find I want to use Thai basil and I go there and they say, no, it hasn't been delivered this week. I always find that disappointment because it feels like
But does nearly you have to recreate your curry around that?
Oh, indeed, you do. But I like to use all the authentic ingredients. So otherwise, do some research online too before you cook. There's lots of free resources out there. And take your time. The cooking journey starts for me when I go shopping and finishes when I serve up the meal. So it's kind of just take your time and enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, something that we don't always have a lot of time. But we can order them from you, Jim. We can all order them from you.
Well, yes, indeed. You're more than welcome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, all of this sounds great, and thanks for those few little tips that you've just given us.
Okay.
And thank you for coming to share your experience with us. And now we're just going to come back to our expression, which was a builder's tea. And what did you say a builder's tea was, Tim?
I said it was a strong brew, so PG tips, and builders, obviously, they like a cup of tea when they have a little break here and there. So
yeah, exactly, and you're right. And I think as well, it means that when they didn't have time to make anything else, they just heated up their water, stuck their tea bag in it,
left it 10 minutes.
Yeah,
because they forgot when they came back.
They came back, drank it cold, and that's your
pretty much
your builder's tea. God love them. Okay, so thank you everyone for listening to this chronic. Thank you for coming in today, Tim. That was really a great pleasure to have you here today. And thank you all to Radio Grand Lac 92.1. Don't forget to stay tuned, because we are going to have, just after at 1 o'clock, we're going to have Patrick Masson with the place of the associations, which we would say charities. And then tonight, stay tuned tonight, because we've got a really known actor who's coming with his new film coming out called Irreductible. I can't even say that in French. I don't know. Anyway, And that'll be coming out in March. So we've got Jérôme Commandeur from 6 to 7 with the show L'heure de kiff. Oh, sounds all very exciting.
It does.
I can't wait to listen to that this evening. Anyway, thank you all to our listeners and have a wonderful week. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye now. Bye.
Bye.
Your English Weekly. Your English Weekly. La chronique 100% en anglais de Radio Grand Lac avec Sinead.